Investigative reporting is looking in corners. You're shining a flashlight or a spotlight into a corner where nobody is looking.
When a public official gets a call from somebody on the spotlight team, they usually know that they're under investigation for doing something that they thought nobody would catch them doing. We give a voice to people who are voiceless.
If you dial it back to the early 2000s, that was probably one of the roughest, lowest times. Places were starting to cut back, they were starting to shrink their staffs, they were starting to really put pressure on daily delivery. And yet in spite of that, this team goes and finds a way to break a story that we're still talking about in 2016.
On January 6, 2002, we published our first story.
The telephone system was clogged with callers who said, it's not just Father Gagan, there are others.
Suddenly we had whole stories unfolding in front of us. In at least the first year that we covered this, we probably wrote at least 600 stories.
Teams like Spotlight or the I-Team at the Toronto Star seek to try and expose problems in public institutions or in some cases private institutions, and we do that because we truly do want to shine a light on wrongdoing.
What was most impressive about the Spotlight investigation was not just the impact that the early stories had, but how they carried through that investigation over not months but more than a year, which I think sent a strong signal to the community in Boston, but also the world, that they weren't going to let that story go and that it was important enough to report to the very end.
I'm not sure if people really appreciated how much pushback that they got, both not just from the Catholic Church, but also from subscribers to the Boston Globe. People were angry about that. They didn't want these stories told.
To go into the heart of something that people were so protective of, and to maintain the resolve that said, but this story has to be told.
In investigative reporting, you're always concerned about repercussions, but at no point do you let those concerns get in the way of completing the story. And the key there is making sure that you've done your homework to make sure the information is correct.
If somebody really fundamentally despises what you're doing, and they're reading every word thinking you are damaging my career or reputation, you can't get anything wrong. You've got to be right from the start to the finish.
We worked very, very hard. We were there pretty much every day.
A lot of it is drudgery and shoe leather reporting. You're in an office and you're going through boxes and boxes of documents. And then marbled in with that, you're developing sources. You're trying to get people to tell you things that they don't want to tell you.
You have to be all in, because it's going to take some time. You're going to get a lot of resistance. You might even get banged around a little bit.
People who have something to hide are often pretty good at doing it, and will say what they need to, do what they need to make sure you don't get at the truth they've been trying to conceal.
When we eventually went to the church with our list of questions, they not only told us that they wouldn't answer our questions, they told us they didn't want to know what our questions were. The church was used to not being questioned and not having to answer questions, and it had no interest in doing it in our case.
It's hard-fought terrain. Every sentence, every paragraph, you have to fight for it.
You have to ask those questions of powerful people in powerful places, and there has to be a watchdog.
The ability to sniff out corruption and report it in a major media institution like the Boston Globe is many times the only way these things come out.
As government stops regulating organizations, as police forces stop looking into important issues, it really is the role of the journalists and organizations like the Boston Globe Spotlight team to shine a light on these difficult issues.
It's the kind of reporting that begins when people stop talking and stop giving answers.
It's hard work, it's not work everyone enjoys, but it's so important.
They stuck with it and really produced an amazing group of stories that really changed the situation in Boston and in the United States.
Every good story done by any journalist anywhere underscores the value of the work that we're all trying to do.
These stories are important to the community, and they matter, and they need to be told.
Congratulations on work that's still resonating all these years later.